Hey guys, Ben America's Baseball Camp's just going through your swings from the Arizona camp, and appreciate you coming to Arizona, and just wanted to touch base on some things that I see that would recommend for you to work on during the upcoming season. And again, these are just suggestions, doesn't mean you have to do them, but things I would recommend to try doing. First and most important thing, look like a great athlete, very strong, and do some things that I would recommend in regards to changing or updating on your swing. And again, just things to try. So when I back it up in regards to your stance, stance looks really good. You do like to sit down nice and low. I like to be a little bit taller because I think you can get more out of your swing. I think if you're too low, you get out of being in that perfect athletic position, but that's a personal preference. I would like to be a little bit more stronger, I think, if you're a little bit taller. One thing I would highly suggest is your feet are turned a little bit out. And you can see on here your feet are turned out. I would like to see your feet more turned in. And what you'd do is you'd see your knees here. You can see how they go down there if they put a straight line. A lot of good hitters will have it to where they'll have their knees really turned in. And the knees will be turned in here and turned in there. And that's going to really create a lot more power to you. You're so strong and you have nice strong legs and you're very athletic, but I think you can engage your lower half more. In regards to our swing. This is kind of more of a Bagwell type of stance, which is fine, and if you're consistent with it, but it's just something to try. But for sure, I would get the knees to be in and your toes to be in. That's going to help you a bunch. Your hands are in a good spot in regards to your launch position. Would like to see your barrel maybe just a tad this way to create some more whip and some more bat speed. Might help you out a little bit. Your eyes are on the baseball, and that's all good. Going into our next phase of when we do analysis work is our land foot. And you don't even take a stride in regards to your swing, and that's not necessarily bad, just something to be aware about, where most guys, as you go up in levels, are going to take some type of a stride. So just something to be aware of in regards to getting some more power. But you don't take a stride at all, and that's going to make you more consistent, but it's going to take a little bit of power. So just something to mess around with, to maybe take a mini stride. You can put it up and put it back down, or a mini stride. One thing you do as you go to swing, you can see that the weight kind of begins to turn on you, and begin to, even though you don't take a stride, you begin to transfer your weight to your front side. And one thing that's going to do is it's going to take away some power. So you can see how we kind of start here. And without taking a stride, you can see right now that this back leg becomes kind of locked, and this front hip begins to travel, and that's called a drift. So if we bring it back here, your hips are going to kind of drift forward, and that back side, because usually when that land foot hits, you don't want to rotate anything more with your hips, but because you don't take a stride at all, there's nothing to rotate into or to rotate from the back side. It just kind of slides forward. And that's going to take away a lot of power from our upper body and put it just in our arms. You do a nice job of putting that back. Be careful of that bat not doing a huge turn. You can see that bat really turned over here to create that whip, and you have to do that because you're not taking a stride or doing that transfer weight. You're kind of just transferring up to the front side to rotate. And one thing it's going to help you do, too, is just to be more aggressive through the baseball. You are so strong and athletic, but I want to be a lot more aggressive through the ball, to really get through that ball, to even pick that foot up and put it back down. Just something where it kind of triggers you to get yourself really going, to get off your backside, to really rotate into a firm, closed front side, compared to just kind of right now what's called a hip slide. And we just want to get up to where you're going to put it up there and just go into a turn. And again, it's not too bad, but things to work on. One thing we really have to focus on as our next area is the bottom arm. And this one's a biggie. And what you want to do is, if you notice right here that your arm gets kind of locked, that bottom arm gets kind of straight on you. And you can see here on that bottom arm that we want to be extension at contact and not before. So you can see how that arm gets really kind of locked and firm on us. We want to have that locked and firmness at contact out in front, not behind our body, and that's going to make us late. We're going to get away with it on slower pitching, but on faster pitching, we're really going to be late, and we're going to be all arms because it's called casting. We're going to be around the baseball a little bit. So you can kind of see as I go through, that arm is locked, completely locked at this point, and you want to have that locked at contact where it's going to be out in front. So what I suggest you do is get yourself with a nice light T-ball bat, because at this point of your swing, you need to have a nice arm, arc in that arm right there. So we're not going to be casting the ball. So what I would do at this point of your swing is have someone soft toss you with like a Little League bat or a T-ball bat and get some wiffle balls or tennis balls, and basically just rest the bat on your shoulder, and you're basically going to just pull it off, and you're going to go right to the ball. And your bottom arm wants to look like this at contact, not this far before contact. So if you get to contact, you can see that arm is nice and firm, but I want it contact there. If I go back to contact, I want contact to be firm there, but you can see how it's completely locked out at this point, and that's going to make us really long or late to the ball and get around it. So just something to be really aware about, because that's a big one in regards to that. At contact, pretty good position. A little bit bent on that front side. You want that probably a little bit firmer. Again, that front side is closed decently. Could be closed a hair more. That back side could be rotated a little bit farther. That hip turn could be more up in here, and that back side can turn more to get yourself a little bit more aggressive through that baseball. But all in all, pretty good. Hold that finish like that. I like that release that helps you stay through the ball. That back leg does get straight on us a little bit, so try to keep that bend even at your finish of your backside, so you can kind of just get in the habit of really finishing strong. And on that, but the biggest thing is just getting yourself where you're not doing a hip slide and you're not straightening out that bottom hand too much as I go here. Let's see if we don't take a stride on this one. Again, that's fine, but again, you'll notice how here if I do this, put my hips, a line on my hips there, and I go forward, it's more of a hip slide into it, and that's fine in regards to that. So, again, it's just something to work on where we got to take those, at least the feet, and turn them in a little bit, because that's going to give you some more power to turn those feet in and get those knees more inside of our feet. With a stride or without a stride, it's going to make a big difference. Let's go ahead and take a peek at that bottom arm again to see. You can see on that a little bit better. That one was a little bit better in regards to that. You see how a little bit of angle in your arm right here, a little bit better than the one before. Still a little bit straight, but a little bit of an arc. Something to be just aware about, how you want to get your barrel so it's going to be out in front. At contact, a better position. Again, a little bit turned on this, a little bit on the bent front knee. You can kind of firm that out just a hair, but much better on that hip rotation. You can see you did a better job of getting that hip through. That backside, that foot came through, so that's a much better point of contact in regards to that. And again, I want you to be really aggressive getting through that baseball with the legs and strength that you have to really be strong, and don't sink yourself down too low. You can see down there you want to have a tendency to get really nice and low on that swing, and then you kind of come up off of it after you swing. So that's something just to be aware about, to really stay back. And when that timing's off, it's going to really take you out in front. So you really want to be able to stay back on that leg at contact and really try to hold that finish to stay on that back side. Get into that finish again. So again, that nice in line. You have a good line going from the feet, from the ground all the way up through. And just a couple of suggestions. Like I said, play around with picking the foot up and down. Work on the knees and toes being in, working on that bottom arm drill, and just some things you can work on to help you to the next level of your swing. So we wish you the best this season. Thanks for coming to Arizona. We look forward to having you back next year.